Stretched out across a sandy corner of northern Poland, just some of NATO's firepower. American, Polish and British brigades practising how they'd move thousands of troops and equipment at speed to NATO's eastern flank.
We are training essentially for a peer-to-peer threat now, and that's not necessarily something that's happening over to the east, past Europe, but for any enemy, wherever that might appear. How are we training differently? See a lot more armour now. That's not something we ever trained with, well, required to train with for Afghanistan. We didn't have that capability over there. And the way that we need to be training in terms of how we are seen on the battlefield and how we manoeuvre around the battlefield is obviously completely different.
Immediate response is part of a much larger Europe-wide exercise called Steadfast Defender. 90,000 personnel from all 32 NATO member states are involved. On this exercise in Poland, the British Army has deployed 12th Armoured Brigade Combat Team. Camped out on the Drawsko-Pomorskie training area, around what looks like an old Soviet Scud missile, are two of the brigade's battle groups. One from the 1st Battalion, the Royal Welsh, and another from 1st Battalion, the Mercian Regiment. And attached to each of them is a squadron of Challenger 2 tanks. Less than 4 decades ago, this was actually a Warsaw Pact training area. There would have been Russian tanks and soldiers here, where there are now British Warrior armoured vehicles. Ukraine is just 450 miles to the east of here, which is why, understandably, Poland feels very vulnerable, and why the ability to get NATO troops here quickly and in large numbers is so important. How has Ukraine impacted the way that you are training?
So Ukraine's impacted us in the same way that all conflicts impact us. We take lessons from those and we look at how that would affect any modern battle space, and we implement procedures, techniques and tactics to work within that. In terms of FPV drones, you know, that's a capability that's been around quite a long time now. It's relatively new to the British Army, but importantly our counter to that threat has been ongoing, and the work's been ongoing for quite some time now. And I know that the US Army are also quite developed in that area.
As well as the Royal Welsh and Mercians, 12th Brigade is also in command of a US Army squadron from the 10th Cavalry Regiment and their Bradley fighting vehicles. The British Army has sent 2,500 troops and 800 vehicles here to Poland. And for these mechanised infantry units, it's a chance to practice large-scale manoeuvre alongside the Army's Challenger 2 tanks.
Firstly, it's a great experience, and it shows them the type of force that we have when we come together as a battle group and as a brigade, as we are at the minute, that if we were called forward into any type of conflict, I think it fills them with that confidence that we'll be going en masse, well trained, well armed and well prepared.
The war in Ukraine has seen the return of trench warfare to Europe. In a corner of the forest, one Royal Welsh have built their own trench system. Here they're practising concealment, hiding themselves and their armour from the threat of kamikaze drones, and learning the tactics Russian troops might use against them.
And they like to assault trenches simultaneously in a way that we don't do so much.
As part of what mobilised, the Army's been told we have to get back to a conventional warfighting stance, and that is absolutely shaping everything we're doing, all the training we're doing, all the exercises we're doing, ensuring that we're fighting against a peer threat, an enemy that has capabilities like air, has capabilities like drones, has capabilities like artillery. And all those things have a massive impact on the way you train. You can't have, big logistics hubs, people all centralised together. You constantly have to spread out, you constantly have to be dug in, and you constantly, if you're not doing those, you have to be moving.
As NATO marks its 75th anniversary, European security seems more fragile than at any time since the end of the Cold War. This exercise, a chance for the alliance to display both deterrence and firepower, and send a signal to the Kremlin of NATO's solidarity and strength. Simon Newton, Forces News, Poland.
Thanks for watching. For more from Forces News, like and subscribe to our channel.